Okay, today we're going to be doing a new set. We're going to be doing bubble chrome nails. Okay, hi guys. Hello. I'm Kat. These are Kat's claws. Welcome to another video. So these are coming off today. So it's time to say goodbye. I've had them on for about 3 weeks, I think, at this point, 3 weeks. And look at those. Not even a chip in those 3 long nails. So yeah, there's a little bit of growth, a little bit of lifting. My pinky is healing. So we're going to remove them. And then this is my inspiration for what I wanted to do today. So I really love this bubble effect. I actually love that. I love this color as well, but I wanted to go a bit darker just because we're still in the winter. So I love the texture, as you probably know by now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a variation of that nail in a dark. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these. This one's going to have to, this little pinky that I completely destroyed. I thought I'd be able to do something with it, but I think I want to let it grow a little bit longer. I'm not 100% satisfied with how healed it is at this point. So I just don't want to put anything on it. So, but let's start with removal of the other nails. Okay, so I won't do full removal, but I'll do a little bit of it. So I'm going to start with my tornado bit. This is going to be, this is usually the bit I use to like take the bulk off and just kind of take the polish off. And kind of just get them down to, you know, a level where I can either do an overlay or do a new extension, right? The problem, it's going to be tough with those 3 long ones because they've got gemstones in them. So, so let's start with a bit of removal, and then we'll do a little bit more of the prep. So just keep in mind with this bit, it is fairly coarse. You can see by how much dust is gathering. You don't want to hit your natural nail with this, so I just kind of go around it. When I get to my cuticles, sometimes I do like little round circles so that I don't nick any of my natural nail. This part was fucking hell. First of all, what I'm trying to do is cut it down, and every time I kept hitting that gemstone, it was like making this horrible noise, like nails on a chalkboard. So I had to be really careful here with just how I was doing it. I had to get in between the 2 stones, and then I ended up being able to just snap it off. So, and actually I kind of thought it looked really cool. Like when I turn it around, it looks kind of cool. Like with those gouges or those like indents on either side. Anyways, so I'm gonna finish this off and let's see what they look like when they're done. Okay, so removal's done. Those 3 nails, because of the way I had to take those gemstones off of the free edge of those nails, they ended up being pretty short. So I'm just filing them into a point, like as pointy as possible, and then I'm just matching my other nails as close as I can to those 3. Okay, so we're going with a short set, and it's going to be like a short almond set. Okay, so they're pretty much filed into shape right now. I'm leaving the pinky alone. I've cleaned them. I just need to do a little bit more cleanup around the cuticle, which I will do quickly. in a second, and then we can get into the chrome bubbles. So this was my test nail. Well, this was one of them. So I'm going to be using this purple chrome on the nail. I wanted it to be like that. I really wanted it to have like a bit of a raised edge. But this was one of my test nails. So I think I'm going to try a couple variations. So we're going to try to matte them. So we'll do a matte version. We'll do a shiny version. I wasn't able to, what I really wanted to do was keep the chrome really shiny, but have those bubbles so that you could like feel them. But it didn't work out that way. So kind of little spoiler alert. I'll figure out how to do that another time. So first what we're going to do is I'm just going to push back my cuticles, and then I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup just to make sure there's nothing left on my nail plate, like all that stuff that I'm scraping off right now. For the cuticle work, I'm going to use my mini, I think it's a flame bit, but it's like got a rounded tip, and it's a diamond cuticle bit. So this is perfect for the natural nail, just to clean up the cuticles and to buff up any of the natural nail that's left still, or that's showing through on my nail plate. So there's some pieces here that are lifted that I actually clean off with my oh my god, my sanding band off camera. So just a heads up, I do clean that up. Otherwise, I'm going to get a little bit of lifting there. So I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to show you full prep, like with the primer, but I'll go over exactly what I used at the end. And instead of doing a fill, I'm just going to use a base coat. Okay. So I'm using a GelPolish base coat. At this point, I have primed the nails. I've put TACK on as well, which I've cured. And now I'm going in just with a nice thick base coat to fill in any of those like grooves in the nail. I didn't really need to do like any backfill. So this is sort of my version of an overlay. And because I'm going to be doing several layers of gel polish, it's thick enough. My nails will be fine. They're very short right now. So I didn't think I needed to like build anything at this point. So once we're done here, I'm going to cure this. And then we're going to go in with a first coat of Madame Glam's Perfect Black, which I am going to fully cure. And then we're going to go for a second round of Perfect Black, which I'm not going to cure. And we're going to do our bubbles before we get into the chrome. Okay. Okay, so I use my trusty little liner brush to get close to my sidewalls, because it's hard for me to like pull my sidewalls back obviously, as I'm working on my own nails. And black can get really messy, right, if you start to touch your skin with it. So I get as close as I can with the gel brush to the cuticle, to the free edge, and then I go and I do cleanup with my liner brush, so it's nice and smooth. Okay, so I've cured that first coat, and now I'm going to do the bubbles. So for the bubbles, I just have a little container here with some water. I am stirring it to try to get these bubbles to try to get these bubbles to be thick. You need dish soap. You have to use dish soap because dish soap makes a lot of bubbles. If the soap you're using, if you're washing your hands with it, does not like suds and make a lot of bubbles, it's not going to do what you want it to do on the nail. So and even this is tough to work with. So so what I'm doing is I'm doing a second coat of the black, not too thin, not too thick, not curing it, stirring my bubble mixture here again, and then I'm putting that massive bubble, whatever you call that, on the nail, and I'm curing it as quick as I can to see if it works. And it did work. It worked, but there are some spaces. So if you don't get into the lamp fast enough, you don't have enough bubbles on it, the bubbles start to pop, and then you have spaces, which is fine. It's fine. It still looks cool. But if you want bubbles all over the nails, you want them to pop and dry that way so that they're cured, you have to get it in the lamp as fast as you can. And less water is better, and more soap, because then you get more suds, which I figured out afterwards. So what I'm doing here is I'm pouring it back in this container, and I'm just gonna shake it around a little bit more, just to get those bubbles going again, while my thumb, or sorry, my other finger's curing. And then I'm just pouring it back into my little container here, and you see I got more bubbles, right, to work with. So let's do the rest of this hand. Okay, so there they are. So it worked. Yay! Okay. So there's like a little space, but it's okay. It's okay. So that's what I meant when I was saying that if you don't get it in the lamp fast enough, the bubbles pop and then you got those open spaces. So on my thumb, in some, there's a little bit on some of the other fingers too. There are some open spots where the bubbles just popped and they didn't cure like into like a hard bubble, right? So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my purple chrome and my little silicone tool, and I'm just going to burnish the chrome into the full nail. So it's cool because it's getting all the like edges, right? The hard edges that have dried of those bubbles. And then any spots that are open are going to be completely chromed, but then you've got that black peeking through underneath. So like this is what I wanted the nails to look like. But because of the way I did them, because I did the chrome on top of the bubbles, or on top of the bubbles. If I just left them like that without a top coat or anything, the chrome would just would have come off. So I had to improvise. But let's finish these off and then we'll be back. Okay, so those are done. So I'm just cleaning up any of the chrome that I got on my skin with my little cleanup brush and a little bit of cleanser. So after the chrome, you obviously don't have to cure it, right? You just leave it as is. This is where I figured out, okay, I'm not going to be able to keep them like this because you need a top coat. You need something on top of a chrome to keep chrome on. Otherwise it just flakes off. It'll rub off. So it looked amazing with the bubbles on the black, which I could have kept them like that. It looks amazing like this. This is how I wanted to keep them. But logistically, not gonna work. So we got to figure something else out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a Madam Glam No Wipe top coat, and I'm gonna do my thumb with Madam Glam. So I'm gonna cover the whole nail, so I won't be able to feel any of the bubbles there anymore. And then the second one I'm gonna do a little bit different. I'm gonna chrome it first, and then I'll top coat it with a bit of a thinner top coat. Okay, so here I've got, for my thumb, I used Madam Glam. For my second finger, I matted it, and then I did a thinner top coat on top. It looks nice, but you lose that, the embossed bubbles on it, and you totally lose the chrome, right? It just changes the whole look of the nail. So for the other three nails, because I have to do something on them, I can't just leave them as they are. I'm using a matte top coat because I want to see what these ones look like with a matte. So this is a bit of a thinner matted top coat. Okay, that hand's done. I'm gonna do this hand off camera. I'm gonna finish some cleanup. I'm going to leave my baby pinky alone to heal up a little more. And then I'm gonna attempt the bubbles with my non-dominant hand, which is very difficult. And we're gonna use a Velvet Matte by Madam Glam on these ones just to see the difference. Okay, first hand done. So that's my left hand finished with my test nail. So it looks a little different than the test nail. Just didn't quite turn out the same. And then on this hand, I've got the 3 matted nails and the 2 shiny. On my other hand, I used a completely different matte top coat. And I just did 1 shiny, and I'm hiding my pinky because obviously it looks out of place. So I completely changed the look by putting a matte top coat on. The thin matte, I completely changed the look by putting the velvet matte, and even the shiny top coat obviously will completely change the look because you end up filling in all those ridges, right? So on my left hand, the bubbles were easier to do. So the matte, I can actually feel the bubbles through it. On my right hand, however, it was really hard to do the bubbles. So I can't feel it at all, right? So this hand I can feel them raised, and I'm leaving them like that. Whereas on this hand, the bubbles were so hard to do with my non-dominant hand. I just kept messing them up. And I barely feel any like embossed bubble on the other hand. So the Madam Glam Velvet Matte top coat is much thicker. So it fills in some of those ridges. Whereas the first matte that I used on my left hand didn't quite fill in the ridges. so you can actually feel what's kind of going on underneath. So they look cool. They still look cool, but it wasn't what I was originally going for. I really wanted to get that chrome to stand out. So I'm going to have to do something different in order to get that chrome to show. So anyways, let's go over what we used. I didn't show most of this, but I did use KIRSTY MEAKIN's primer first, air dried. I used a TACK, cured for 2 minutes. Then I did a base coat, just to kind of fill in any ridges, make sure there's a protective layer on my nails. Cured that for 2 minutes. And then we went into the design. So first coat, Madame Glam Perfect Black, I cured. Then we did the bubbles. Then we did a second coat, did not cure, did the bubbles, cured the bubbles, and then we did the chrome on top of the bubbles. Next time I'm going to do the chrome underneath, and then I'm going to do a clear layer and do the bubbles on the clear layer, and I think that would keep that chrome look. But for our top, we did the velvet matte on my right hand. On my left hand, where I can actually feel them, I used the GelPolish matte, which is like a thinner matte top coat. It's not quite a velvet like the Madame Glam is like. It's like velvety, right, when you feel it. And then I used the Madame Glam No Wipe for my thumb. And I actually used the MACRON top coat for 2 of my other nails, just because it was a little bit thinner. So the thicker the top coat, obviously the more that you end up covering any of those grooves that you get from the bubbles. Same with the matte. And then the thinner the top coat, you actually kind of still feel that embossed underneath. So they kind of look like, I don't know, they look like a planet, really. Like it ended up looking like a planet, especially the matted ones. The shiny ones look cool because you can see some of the chrome underneath, whereas it just totally disappears when you matte it. So those are the finished nails. So just kind of a mishmash. After I figured out that the chrome would have to be top coated, I just kind of decided to play around and just see what each different top coat would do. And this is what I got with my naked baby pinky that I can't do anything to for at least another week. Maybe I'll fix it next week. We shall see. And that's it. Those are the nails for today. So bubble chrome attempt, new set with removal. And yeah, that's what I'll be doing probably all week, is feeling the ones that still have the embossed bubbles on them, which is why I love it, right? Anyways, hope you guys liked the video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys next time.
Give it to me like